What's up, Liron here. In this video, you're going to learn how to build a following on social media as an artist, and in particular as a visual artist. Okay, now I've been asked a lot about this. How do I grow on Instagram? How do I grow on YouTube? It seems to be a point of challenge for many artists. So I'm going to talk about a couple of steps to take that will hopefully help you reach the next level. I will say before we get started, the number one thing is hard work. You have to be proactive about what you learn now. Okay, so you have to actually go research, test it out, find out more answers to things I haven't necessarily talked about here. Okay, that proactive approach is eventually what will allow you to succeed on any social media platform, in anything really. But if you just take the tips and hope that it happens like that, it won't happen. So with that being said, let's get started. I do have a cheat sheet here. So the first point I want to talk about is figure out what platforms you want to be on. Okay, so first, let's talk best visually, because we're visual artists. This video is aimed at visual artists. If you're doing something else, find those platforms. But visual art, you want to focus on platforms that have a strong visual aspect to them. Obviously, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, all of these. But do not avoid the other ones, okay? Because they're also important. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. That's the first thing. Platforms that are better visually. Second, platforms you enjoy using, okay? Try and find one or two that you really like. For me, Instagram, I use it just for fun. And also YouTube. I'm most of the time when I'm on some kind of a social media site, it's YouTube probably and Instagram. I just really love YouTube. I learn everything from YouTube. I do my research on YouTube. I do everything on YouTube. So if you find something you like and that indexes visually well, that's a winner. Okay, I'm not that strong on Pinterest, but I do want to be more strong. I do want to become better at it because I know it's a huge platform. Now, I want to say this, as I mentioned just a moment ago. My recommendation is attack all platforms. If you really want to succeed, if you really want your art to be out there, if you really want your name as an artist to be out there, you have to tackle all platforms. It's not enough to just be on Instagram, because what happens is you become dependent on one platform and you're at risk. You put yourself at risk. What if Instagram is irrelevant in I don't know, a couple of years, no one really likes it? Maybe Facebook now became much older, so young people spend more time on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all of those platforms. So you want to make sure you're not at the mercy of just one platform. So I would go for everything, and I mean everything. I mean having a podcast, I mean doing videos or vlogs, I mean email marketing, LinkedIn, writing articles on Medium, everything. Now, maybe you're not as good in video, or maybe you're not as good in recording yourself. Find your own voice, okay? If you're better at writing, cool, go all in on that. But you have to at least try being everywhere. And there are ways to hack it. For example, if you don't want to talk too much, you can interview other people. Just an example, video, depending on how you do it. If you don't like talking, show your process, okay? But make it the coolest video possible. For me, because I teach and I talk, my videos aren't necessarily the coolest visually or editing wise, but they do provide the utility value of teaching. Okay, so find your own kind of way to go about this and find what works best for you. But my recommendation is everything. Next up, after you've chosen the platforms, hint, hint, all of them, you need to learn the rules of the game with each one. Every platform has a different set of rules to succeed on. I'm going to give you an example. On YouTube, for example, they really appreciate consistent, frequent as possible videos. It really means a lot when you post consistently over a long period of time. And if you're inconsistent, it's going to hurt your ranking. You can succeed if you have really, really good content and some of it hits virality. You can succeed, of course, but generally speaking, they really appreciate consistent schedule of uploads. Just one example, okay? Different lengths. You want to play around with different length videos. Find the perfect one. It's very different for each audience and for each platform. For example, playlists are a huge thing on YouTube. They want to keep the user on the platform for as long as possible. So if you have playlists in different series, like I have the Painting Masters, I have the Paint Show, that makes people binge watch them. That's really important, because then YouTube sees, this user, this account makes these people watch one video and another video and another and another. They love that. They promote that, okay? Which is why my series do consistently well. They're not the best of what I make. They're not the worst. They're really steady. I get views for almost any video, like a decent amount of views. So for example, let's talk about Instagram. Instagram, they want to leave the user, also like YouTube, as much time as possible on the platform. So instead of posting a single photo, how about posting a gallery that makes people swipe, and move on to the next photo, it takes them longer. Maybe they like engagement once in a while. So if you make a post that's actually a question like I just did, what's the hardest thing for you right now? Then tons of people comment, hopefully, because people like to tell their hardships. And that really helps with the ranking as well. You know, you have to learn the hashtags, do the research. Every platform, let's zoom out a bit. Every platform has its own rules. You want to learn those rules. You want to go to Google and find out how to do this and that on Instagram, how to become better on Snapchat, how to become better at TikTok. All of these platforms have their own rules, and you need to learn those rules, okay? And next, this is one before the last, is put in the work, okay? You want to be as frequent as possible and as consistent as possible. Now, when I say as frequent as possible, I mean the highest frequency you can that will still allow you to maintain your humanity, okay? Because posting very frequently, it becomes daunting, it becomes hard, depending on your capacity or capability. For me right now on Instagram, I'm kind of moving between 2 to 4 posts a day, but sometimes I'm not able to keep up that pace and I have to give more time to other endeavors. That happens. Okay, so you want to make sure that you find your own rhythm and the maximum you can be consistent with, because sometimes consistency is even more important than frequency. Because if you do like 10 posts in 2 days and then you burn out and you don't post for a week, it's much better to have 1 post every single day. Consistency matters, okay? But if you can do it more frequently, you have more chances of improving and growing faster, okay? If you do it more consistency, you have more chance. Now, another thing under put in the work is reaching out, engaging with the community, and making connections. You want to make sure you're not just passively posting. You want to be there. You want to comment on other people's posts. You want to do that as much as possible. I personally am not doing it very well lately. I am trying to comment. I am trying to like search, for example, on Instagram, I search hashtag watercolor painting, and I look at all the new posts, not the hot posts, the newer ones, not the top, sorry, the new. And what happens is it's people that have like 30 followers. So actually leaving a comment there that is meaningful and actually means something, is real, not like fake cool pic or something like that, means a lot to the person you're commenting on, and they will answer, they will reply, and maybe they'll follow back. Okay, so that's really important. Okay, so don't be like an island, actually reach out to people. And the next thing I want to say is be patient. It takes time, especially in the beginning when you don't have as much exposure, when you don't have as much, I guess, connections on the platform and people that are actually your fans. And I don't mean fans in the cliche way, I mean literally people who see you as a friend. Because a lot of people, I comment back on their posts, they comment back on mine. We're messaging, using the messaging capabilities of Instagram, for example. Or even on YouTube, there are people here that comment on the videos that I already feel like I'm knowing, because they always comment and I always reply. Okay, so you want to make sure you build those connections and be patient. And I will say this, if I look back at my Instagram growth, I think it took me about a year to get to 1,000 followers. Now, I want to say numbers mean jack crap. It doesn't matter what number of followers you have. If you have 100 followers and all of them are clients that actually pay you money, for example, if you want to make it into a career, then that's much better than having like a million followers that you bought off, and they're bots and they don't even give you any engagement, and then your account is screwed basically. The quality here means a lot. Okay, so if you actually have to collect those followers slowly and dauntingly. So if you comment on 10 posts, maybe 2 of them follow you, and they're more real followers. They actually care, because you actually care. You actually commented on their stuff. But for what I was gonna say is, I think it took me about a year to get to 1,000 followers on Instagram, just to put it in context, and then another year to be at 30,000, maybe, I think, or maybe another year for 10,000, and then this year I got to 30,000, I don't know, like a while ago. So it does become faster the more you grow, obviously, because you're also improving. You also learn what people enjoy seeing, but it just takes time. So be patient, take your time, and put in the work. Okay, now if you're putting in the work for years and nothing happens, maybe you're not good enough. I know that's crappy to hear. Maybe you're just not good enough in this particular thing. Maybe you should try out something different, which is fine, it's cool. I did sketches, pencil sketches, pen sketches. I did all sorts of watercolor styles until I started learning more and more about what I like, and things that were less popular. Took me longer to grow. Okay, so it does improve with time. Maybe you need to, what they call it, pivot. change direction, try something new. That's cool. That's perfectly fine. But in any case, I hope these tips help. I'm gonna go over them real fast. First, figure out the platforms that are the best for you. I recommend all of them. Second, learn the individual rules of every platform and do them, abide by them, okay? Then, put in the work, which means consistently and frequently. And fourth, be patient. It takes time, okay? I hope you found this helpful. Let me know in a comment down below if you have any follow-up questions. I know this is a topic many people struggle with. If you have anything specific, like how do I succeed on Snapchat? How do I succeed on a specific platform? Write it down in a comment down below and I will be happy to help. I want to thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you again in another vid real soon.